Good morning, wrestling fans, and welcome to PWR today, Thursday morning, October 28th, 2021. The man they call Meathead and the M.O.T.S, the Matthew of the streets, Matthew Thomas. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning. And I can't think of a better accountability buddy to have this morning than you, Meathead.
I love an accountability buddy. Do you know what that's from? Besides,
yeah, you know what? I don't know. I don't know the origin.
Oh, that's South Park.
Is it? Okay.
Oh yeah, that's definitely South Park. Now, where did South Park get it? I have no idea, but the accountability buddy that came off an episode of South Park.
I would imagine it's The Simpsons because The Simpsons did it first, right?
Simpsons did it. Sorry. All right. Speaking of stuff that we did, let's do some talking about our sponsor.
Well, we have done that in the past. We're doing it in the present, and I would imagine we're probably going to do it in the future as well too. And that is talk about our sponsor, Collar and Elbow, available exclusively at collarandelbowbrand.com, where you can go and get some early holiday presents, some early Christmas presents, birthday presents, Halloween presents, Thanksgiving presents, Martin Luther King Day presents. Let's see, what else do we have? Valentine's Day. Any holiday you can think of that you want to buy something for somebody, Collar and Elbow Brand has you covered. collarandelbowbrand.com. Enter promo code Linda K, LINDAKAY. Save yourself 10% and just get yourself all decked out.
Again, collarandelbowbrand.com. Linda K, LINDAKAY for 10% off. Our girl taking care of business down in OVW. She's taking care of business at Great Lakes Championship Wrestling. A new name has been added to Blizzard Brawl, by the way, too. I don't know if you saw this. Maria Kanellis looks like she'll be appearing at Blizzard Brawl this year, Matthew. I know that you said you're going, but now with the announcement of Maria as well, there's no reason why you shouldn't be in Waukesha on the first Saturday of December.
This is breaking news, right before our airtime. So yeah, it changes day to day. You never know what additional names you're going to have added to that mega card in December.
And here's why I bring that up too, because we have some Ring of Honor news. This is kind of a downer, to be honest with you. And with wrestling business, the way it's been just accelerating over the last, you could say 40 years, the nice wave that we've had the last 2 years again. Ring of Honor says they will be going on a hiatus beginning at the beginning of the year in 2022 for at minimum the first quarter of the year. Any contracts, any agreements that they have with talent that expire in January or December will not be renewed, and anything that runs later than that will be honored and revisited again at the end of quarter one. So that means no shows, no TVs, no pay-per-views, no nothing. Any of the talents that are currently working in Ring of Honor are set free to explore other employment opportunities.
Here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it will serve as a nice reset for the company. And I'm hoping that final pay-per-view of the year in December, I'm hoping that
will be the last show.
Yep. Yeah, that does a goodbye rate. And hopefully, it sounds like they're more or less saying they're taking the first quarter off. Hopefully they can do that and give everybody time to reassess. And, when you have this, and here's the thing, there's a lot of wrestling out there now. There's a lot of hours, just your normal wrestling fan. There is a lot of hours consumed each week on just staying current on products. And so kind of what I'm hoping here is that, off the air for a little while, if that's the case, hopefully they can come back with some, renewed enthusiasm and give people a time to maybe kind of go in fresh a little bit. And I think ROH
give them a chance to miss it.
Yeah. And I think that's been one of those things too. I mean, you've got WWE and AEW at the forefront there. I think a lot of time Impact, and then to another extent, ROH, they get put on the back burner, and it might be something that, I'm going to watch it next week. Well, weeks go by and it doesn't happen. Go away for a while, give them a chance to miss it, and come back with some renewed enthusiasm there.
Remember, Ring of Honor also had a new partner. One of the ownership partners was Sinclair Broadcasting Company, who own a lot television stations. So, they had a huge TV deal as well that,
Yeah.
again, with Sinclair being the owner, they'll be the ones that'll just replace the content with new content. Sinclair was also the TV station that owned the channel that the Pro Wrestling Report was on for a very
Yeah.
long time too. That's why we followed up or we let in, depending on what they did, that particular week. But we were always, combined with Ring of Honor Wrestling.
Yeah, and keep in mind, I mean, when that Sinclair deal was reached, I mean, we're probably a decade or so, I believe, into the Sinclair deal. I mean, the distribution landscape has changed a lot, and the over the top, everybody, and as hot as wrestling is right now, I mean, I still think there is a home for over the top, if not premium wrestling content there. And whether that's any route they explore, I don't know. But
can they talk to Universal and maybe Peacock picks them up?
Yeah. I mean, I think that your options now are a lot more broad than they were even just a decade ago.
All right, let's head over to WWE for a little SmackDown news. Coming up tomorrow night, Greg Hamilton will not be the ring announcer on SmackDown. He has been released of his duties. Greg Hamilton is the one that honestly, I loved Greg Hamilton's voice, right? He was the one that said, "The best in the world, Shane McMahon." He had a big, bombastic voice. I loved his voice. However, he has said, WWE has said, and there's no truth to the rumor, but the Twitter feud that he got into with a rapper who allegedly used his voice as a sample on his new rap album, Greg Hamilton looked like a douche in this, to be honest with you, saying, "Look, you know what? You're a clown. You stole my vocals. It's 20,000 today, but noon Eastern it'll be 30,000, and we can go to court. Why don't I have my WWE lawyers come and harass you? It's a slam dunk. The price goes up by the day." Dude, you could have handled this so much better. Man,
and here's what I don't understand. All right, let's say somebody, steals your voice and samples it on a rap track, which I know happens several times a week generally. Here's the thing. If it is a litigious issue there, right, and we've got some, you don't freaking air that out on Twitter and auction off what you're going to sue somebody for. My goodness, what in the world?
And even after, because this wasn't just one singular tweet, even after the first one, the second one, the third one, how in the wide world of sports did somebody not tell him to knock it off?
Yeah.
I mean, because he didn't get fired off of one tweet. I guarantee you. It wasn't just one tweet that got him fired. It was a succession of tweets that maybe he was told to stop, and it just kept on going over and over. You know what? He's a very talented guy. He'll get work elsewhere. However, this was a huge deal. Now, from my understanding, the ring announcers way back in the day, and this might still be the case, but the ring announcers and the referees were always part of the ring crew.
Yeah.
So, you're Tony Chimmel, the Rated R Superstar Edge, that Tony ran the ring crew. And that's part of their, on-air job, and their off-air job was the ring crew. Greg Hamilton, I believe, was brought in just to be a ring announcer.
Yeah. And I mean, if you've been to any WWE show in the last 20 years, man, I think one of your mainstays is you always consistently see Charles Robinson breaking down that ring.
Charles Robinson, yeah. Charles Robinson is one of the guys.
That man can twist the turnbuckle.
He can twist the turnbuckle, and he has such cardio that you remember WrestleMania 24, right?
Oh, absolutely.
The run down that huge ramp. Dude, Charles Robinson was like a fart in a wind, man. He was gone. One more bit of news here. Busted Open Radio. Again, you've heard us talk about it a few times. I don't listen to really anything else. We do this program here for you guys here, but I don't want to listen to anything else and have my opinion diluted by somebody else's opinion that might seep into mine. But I do listen to Busted Open on occasion. And we know the story with Tommy Dreamer having been removed from Busted Open after the plane ride from hell, Dark Side of the Ring. Tommy Dreamer returned to radio on Wednesday morning, and he was back reviewing the previous night's NXT along with host Dave LaGreca, and they interviewed Crowbar. No mention of where he was, why he's back, how things are going. I think there was a missed opportunity there.
Yeah, and especially because, when it was announced he was not going to be on the air, LaGreca had such a very impassioned reason why.
Yes.
So it's not like this thing that hasn't been acknowledged and continues to not be acknowledged. It was acknowledged, and then you don't have it acknowledged when he returns. But I guess the bullet point of that is you're not going to let Dave LaGreca or Tommy seep into you, correct?
No, and I've got some open wounds on me that I don't want to anyway.
Very good idea.
Had the bandage removed today, Matthew. I didn't realize how long my incision was, dude. I mean, we're talking 6 to 8 inches, so.
So that's after the reduction, right?
Yes, after a reduction. Yes.
I got you.
I've been watching a lot of Seinfeld lately on Netflix, and I just saw the Moyle episode. So let's go to AEW Dynamite from last night, and I want to lead off with the opening match, and I want to lead off with a topic that I want to hear your opinion on. It was a singles match with Bobby Fish and CM Punk. Have we gotten too much? Are we being saturated with CM Punk?
Not for me, but I think that's a worthwhile discussion to have. I mean, Punk's wrestling almost every week. And
he's showing up. No.
Yeah.
Let's take that back. They mentioned it. Last night was the first match on Dynamite for Punk. Punk has wrestled 5 times. Yes.
Oh, my goodness. So everything else has been pay-per-view one, and then everything else is, I guess, the other matches would have come on Rampage, right?
They all came on Rampage, and they were all 8 matches.
Interesting. I mean, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can save Punk for special appearances. It's not a WWE model, so it might be a little too less frequent if you just had him on pay-per-views, because at this point we're talking about 4 times a year. Yeah. I mean, I think here's the reason I think you're seeing so much of him is the fact that guy, I mean, this is a CM Punk tour right now. As AEW is hitting the road, your formula for getting that crowd up, whether you want to start the show with them up, whether you want to get them up in the middle, or really the reason we've seen so many of those matches on Rampage is because I personally think of the Rampage taping schedule after Dynamite and the fact that you've got a lot of people that are kind of tired from 2+ hours of wrestling. You got to get them back up again.
Well, you got to think TV-wise too, Matthew, because again, they're trying to take in that wrestling lead-in from SmackDown. Yeah.
100%. I'm okay with it. I mean, I understand that discussion, but and these are solid Punk matches too, at least in my opinion. So yeah, I'm all right with it, man.
So I'm not against it either. I guarantee you TNT wants as much Punk as they can get.
Yeah.
Right? Because Punk's in the promos. This is better than it was, like I said, back in the days of Impact. You could talk to Kevin Nash or, whoever back in those Impact days when they were trying to go heavy on Monday nights and then heavy on Thursday nights. Impact ran everybody else's commercials, but Impact never had a commercial airing on TNT or Spike anywhere else on the channel ever. Yeah. Right? TNT, those things are running hot and heavy. Yeah. I mean, they're a bumper in almost any movie that you're watching. Is watch Rampage, watch Dynamite. They're a bumper.
No, I mean, it's the top. I mean, it's got to be the top original content TNT's got right now.
Oh, it's the one making them the most money.
Yeah,
absolutely, and drawing the best numbers. Secondly, it's if anybody's burning out on it, it's going to be the at-home audience, because as we saw last night in Boston, I think they were in Boston. As we saw last night in Boston, that crowd absolutely went crackhead crazy for CM Punk showing up. So you say it's a tour, the CM Punk tour, the Welcome Back tour. Every city that he goes to that's brand new are going to welcome him back with open arms.
100%. And I think as a viewer at home too, and each week when I see him on TV, especially when I see him wrestle, it's a little bit of pinch yourself, because it's 2021 and we're getting Punk matches on a very regular basis on free TV. It's still pretty hard to believe, man, because that guy took a long hiatus, and the smart money at one point probably would have been this guy's done for good.
He kind of went Roy Hobbs on us. It really had that meteoric rise at the beginning. Got shot by Daryl Hannah.
Yeah. No, it was Kim Basinger. He still got a bullet lodged in him, I think, right?
Right. And then he came back and he helped to win the championship by knocking the cover off the ball.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
CM Punk beats Bobby Fish, so Bobby Fish now has a loss on his record. The second match was MJF taking on Bryce Donovan, and this wasn't a match. It was more a setup to Darby Allin showing up in a concert footage. Hey, you're not Darby Allin, and then just attacking him, and then here comes Darby Allin sitting in the crowd wearing Columbo's rain jacket, and I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was that was supposed to be the Invisible Man, right?
Yeah, that was
wasn't it? Yeah. No, I liked it because I had seen a few people in the crowd in costume originally, and it did not dawn on me. I saw it. I just assumed it was somebody dressed up. Really well done, and I'm good with it, man. Yep.
There's one more. I got one more question for you. All right, TNT Championship. Sammy Guevara taking on Ethan Page, all Eagle from the American Top Team. If Guevara loses, he has to leave the Inner Circle. I got to ask that while these guys are out there showing out and showing up, way too many high spots. I need to see a little bit more wrestling. And you know what? The commentary actually called that out as well. JR said, look, there's going to be a point where I know these guys want to do all these high spots, but he's going to have to learn how to ground and pound and maybe learn some submission.
And that's what's so great about the commentary table, especially JR in general, just the common sense analysis, call it like a freaking sport, man, and that I don't think that would ever happen in WWE commentary right now because you would be looking at it. Oh my gosh, look at these superstars and how talented they are and all of their high flying capabilities. Well, JR is grounding that psychology in the match when, just call it out and speak to the fans like, it's a sport and they've got some intelligence at all.
It really rang true with me last night.
Yeah,
I mean, absolutely.
Good job on JR's part there.
So I have a bone to pick. I don't want it to sound like it's a circle jerk for the Inner Circle and for AEW in general, but I understand every crowd, again, having lived it. You've lived it. Linda lived it. We all lived it. I understand every crowd wants their sing-along to Judas moment. Come on, man. They're still going. Just because the song starts doesn't mean you can't stop it and start it again.
Yeah.
It's obnoxious.
Yeah. No, it's that's starting to get a little formulaic at this point.
Well, I mean, you've got the guys in the ring, and you've got American Top Teams, or the Best Men, or what are they called again? What's Ethan Page and Scorpio's guy called?
Oh my goodness, Men of the Year. Yeah.
But they have to wait until they get to the chorus part.
Yeah.
I get it. Come on, have Jericho come out later so they can have their sing-along moment. I understand, but dude, and he gets pyro when he's running in for a run-in. Come on, man.
I know. That's one thing that's always intrigued me is the music when there is somebody running in to save a beat down. You're running by the sound guy, you're saying, hit my music, or is there a little button back there you're pushing right before you come in? Let me ask you this, Meathead, is that what takes so long sometimes for the people to come in and run in? Is they're just queuing the music up?
Well, I mean, you got to DJ your own stuff, just like, Big E sometimes introed himself and said, oh,
yeah.
At comedy shows, you intro yourself in. So who knows?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about probably one of the coolest promos, not because of the content, just because of how believable it was. Yeah. One of the coolest promos I've seen in a long time. Eddie Kingston tells us, dude, I have to take Zoloft every day just because I don't want to hurt everybody and because I'm trying to live a dream. You want to talk about hard work? Why don't you walk in my shoes for a mile? And then, I'm done listening to you and I'm done hearing you. I apologize for my back. Wow. But not to be outdone, Bryan Danielson even topped him. Matthew, go.
Yeah, no, outstanding. And you and I came to this very independent conclusion ourselves prior to even talking this morning after watching this. Just a great backstage promo. A lot of times your in-ring promo in front of the crowd is what gets the attention. One of the best backstage promos I've seen in a long time, and I'm so very much enjoying this side of Bryan Danielson that we are getting in AEW. This is like it's almost like we're getting a new character in comparison to what we saw, during the WWE run, man. So this guy,
I want you to say it the way you said it to me off air before we came on. No disrespect to Daniel Bryan, but Bryan Danielson's way better.
Yeah, and I think the term that I used was he's not playing the role of an underdog mascot. And I mean, they caught lightning in a bottle there in WWE, the Yes movement. Let's not take anything at all away from that. It basically changed the main event and the direction that company was going at 30. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. That was one of the biggest grassroots natural things that has probably ever happened in that
Where is
company's
Curry
history.
Head? Wasn't he in the ring? Wasn't that in
I think he was, man. I think he was. And that was exactly what it needed to be, because if that did not happen, Bryan Danielson might be in AEW, but he would not. I don't think you would have the level of superstar that you got with him. I think it would still be kind of, a little bit of that grassroots indie level. You would not have had that run, and you would not have had Daniel Bryan headline a WrestleMania like he did this past year as well, too. So I think that was definitely needed to get him, in that discussion as that name that's just mentioned there in common conversation. But my goodness, it's so refreshing to see this intensity there.
Speaking of intensity, how about Serena Deeb and Kiro Shida?
Oh, fantastic, man.
Wow. Shida got the win, number 50. Yeah. That's fine. She moves on to the tournament. That's fine. But Serena Deeb, who we're going to see at Blizzard Brawl this year, was not taking any shit from her at all.
And I'm not so convinced that she's actually going to be able to move on in the tournament after the beatdown that she got with Serena Deeb. I'm hoping there's a way for this new aggressive Serena Deeb to get back in the tournament, because honestly, I think that's somebody
that chance spot, maybe
possibly. I think that's somebody you need to push to the absolute moon. And I mean, we've known the talent was there. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. But seeing her featured regularly on AEW, and especially seeing this dialed up version, my goodness. I mean, this is top tier talent right here.
I mean, she actually backed down from Jerry Lynn, but it's about time. So we're going to mention the match, but there's nothing to the match. Jon Moxley versus 10 from the Dark Order. 10 got his ass whipped.
And it was a bloodbath, man. I mean, that was my concern here. I think that bleeding is used to tell a story. I'm not so sure how much I like a situation like we had last night, where it's a squash match and you're bleeding to tell that story. This person, whoop my ass. It's like, all right, if this is this match where it adds drama to it, but all of that blood in an outright beatdown, man, it made me feel a little uncomfortable.
Cody Rhodes coming out to the ring, telling the fans in the arena he will not turn. I hear your boos, but I will not turn. What do you think?
I liked what was conveyed in the early part of the promo, where he's coming out there saying, this is the reception that you're giving the guy who got this company off the ground. I think where they're at right now, and bottling that and acknowledging that is huge, and that can really give us something interesting. I don't
you could turn with that.
Yeah, and I don't like exactly. Here's my thing. I don't like kayfabe being broken to the point that it was broken last night, and somebody actually using the phrase "turn," because at that point you're kind of taking me out of my suspension of disbelief, and it's I like the promo overall and what it was going for. I did not like insider terminology being used in the context of a promo like that.
I don't like that you used it. I try not to use it.
Yeah.
I mean, but it makes sense, though. All right, so at the end, Andrade El Idolo comes down, gets in Rhodes' face, and then here comes Malachi Black, the House of Black. Pac actually comes to help make the save, so there's going to be a tag match there at some point. The main event, it was an 8-man tag. It was the Dark Order, Colt, Brandon Cutler, Cabana, Evil, Adam Page, Uno, John, Bambi Silver, and Stu Gratos Grayson. I'd never played God of War, so I mean, I knew that it looked familiar, but they took on the ghost-busting super elite of Adam Cole, Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson with Michael Big Baby Nakazawa and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. This was absolutely fantastic. You
mean Big Baby was who it was.
Big Baby. The first second I was like, oh, come on. You know what? This is okay. And you know what? The proton pack getting stuck in the ropes, Kenny having to really lift up the ropes to get in the ring. He kept his proton pack on when he was working. It really led to me thinking, okay, so where's Adam Page? When is he going to show up?
Yeah.
And it was absolutely perfect. He showed up as the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
And as far as I'm concerned, you had 3 top-notch wrestling matches on this card, and then you had the intensity of what you had with Moxley there in that bloodbath. So something light at the end of this show to have fun with. I was perfectly fine with it, and you still got business done. You still got the Hangman pop. You still perpetuated that build up to the pay-per-view. I was fine with this, and it's partially because I'm a Ghostbusters mark, but this was fun, man. And this was something light for your one of your Halloween shows.
Yeah, so I was okay with it. It was fun, and I want to make point at the end of the show. Now we're back to Dynamite's on Wednesday, and they're live. We're now not going to get a overrun on Dynamite. I want you guys to pay attention to this. They will be ending top of the hour, because if you've noticed, NHL is running directly at 10 Eastern, 9 Central, right after Dynamite goes off. JR even got cut off closing the show out last night.
Yeah, they just need to tell me what time that is in the Mountain Time Zone, because they had a nice little run there giving me my Mountain Times.
Yeah, Mountain Time doesn't exist.
Do you know they don't make a Mountain Time TV guide? You have to choose between an East Coast version and a West Coast TV guide. Huh?
Oh, no, I've got a Central TV guide.
Do you?
Yeah, and we asked this question, Matthew. Linda and I asked this question out loud. Besides Denver, what other big cities are really in the Mountain Time Zone?
I think Linda said Salt Lake City.
I said El Paso.
Yeah, I don't even know about El Paso, man.
I believe El Paso is in the western corner of Texas.
Because Texas is like split between Eastern and Central, I think, right?
Texas has 3 of them in there, actually.
Does it really? Okay, so they might have Mountain. Yeah.
Well, Texas is its own country, so
they might have Mountain.
No, I don't think Texas has Eastern, actually, if I think about it, because if you really think about it, the Panhandle of Florida is still in Central.
Yeah, here's the thing: you need to come up with one of those things where I can count my fingers or my toes or something.
Figure out time zones.
Yeah. We need to find some way to simplify this.
No, I think Texas is Central and Mountain Time. There's no Eastern in Texas.
Interesting. You learn something new every day.
Learn something new every day. Well, we learned that we're going to be talking again tomorrow morning, and we'll talk about Rampage. We'll talk about SmackDown and anything else that comes up. So for Matthew Thomas, the man they call Meathead, hey, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.